Brand misalignment is expensive. It will cost you in ways that may not show up on a P&L, but you will see the signals of it in that P&L. Absolutely. I'm doing this video really quickly today because I am on day 2 of a conference in Greensboro, and I want to get this out to you early because I got more travel going on. But my name is Aubriana, and I'm the founder and principal consultant at Black Unicorn Creative. And our work is making sure your brand and who you are aligns with how you operate and how people experience you. And today we're talking about the cost of brand misalignment. Now, many leaders view brand as this very soft, intangible topic. They squirrel it away in the marketing department and say, it's not my responsibility to know or build or influence the brand. That is not true. That is not true. Brand misalignment is so expensive that when you start seeing the business impact, you've already created a lot of waste. There is a lot of churn, there's confusion, there is work that has to be done over and over again, and the missed opportunities from that are constantly adding up. And so that's what I mean when I say there's signals of brand alignment. No, you're not going to be able to point out like, oh, brand negative $50,000. No, that's not how that works. But there's signals when you're looking at how much it costs for you to acquire customers. If that has changed drastically, your customer acquisition cost, if you're saying, it's costing us more in ads, it's costing us more in investing in those early sales conversations, it's costing us more to acquire the customer, and there's no market influence that is obvious, there's no market reasoning for that, then you need to have a conversation about how clear are our branding efforts and where is that clarity or lack of clarity costing us. Also, brand misalignment hurts your retention, your customer retention, and the retention of your team. Now, when your customers experience you, they've gotten one message from marketing, they've had one experience with sales, and they've had a completely different experience with delivery, they're not going to be really happy about 3 different experiences happening. Like I've said in other videos, our minds are very happy when it is easy for us to put things into boxes, right? When we can no longer categorize in our mind this very safe, very expected experience, then that uncertainty causes us not to buy again. That question of consistency or inability to rely on quality causes us not to buy again. And so misalignment can hurt retention externally with those customers, with your strategic partnerships, with your stakeholders of any kind, but also internally. If you're seeing high attrition within your team, you can't keep people around, you can't attract good talent, and you can't keep good talent within the business. Those are some of the signals that say, the misalignment is causing internal friction within the business, and our inability to keep people around or keep them long enough to where they're seeing some upward mobility in the business, or they are invested in us, that is a sign that you need to be having an alignment conversation with your leadership team. Now, talking about misalignment internally, also, it creates so much inefficiency. You're duplicating work. You're making decisions that you then have to retract. You're spending energy correcting things that you could have done right the first time. It's because there's that lack of clarity, and lack of clarity on purpose, on direction, on vision, on capacity, on resources. Like, that lack of clarity is going to cause you to not keep people around, and it's going to increase your expenses. And I always talk about, when you're trying to grow a business, there's two ways to grow. You grow your bottom line revenue, like you're growing revenue, you're growing profit, making sure it's profitable, or you're decreasing expenses. You can have the same intake, but if you decrease your expenses, you can see growth too. It's all about how you define it, but how you define it needs to be very clear. Misalignment, it's waste. Money spent on ads, for example, that attracts the wrong customer. We talked about customer acquisition costs, but if your customer acquisition cost has increased and you're also attracting the wrong customer because you're not sure who you should be targeting or who would be benefiting from your product or service the most, that's waste. That's waste of time, energy, money. Attrition. Good employees leave. Good employees leave. What's that quote? They don't leave because the job is hard. Good employees leave. I don't even remember. Good employees leave bad managers. Maybe that's the quote. But a lot of times employees leave because leadership is not consistent and they don't trust them anymore. They don't trust the vision, and they don't trust that they don't trust that leadership has their best interest at heart. And then adding complexity to jobs that are already difficult because you are misaligned, because you are not clear on who it is you're serving, how you want to serve them, and how you want them to experience you. That makes it harder to make decisions because the filter for decision making is not there. Now, if you want to identify where misalignment is happening in your business, start with the waste. Start with the redundancy. Start where you are seeing inefficiencies, and you will start to see, we need a little bit more clarity around that. We need to be honest with ourselves on how we could be using our resources better. We need to be honest with ourselves about how, or through what lens we are making decisions, and how that influences the vision for the organization. So drop in the comments. Let me know where some of the instances of waste within your organization, within your business. What are you doing about it? Who do you need to have conversations with to address the misalignment internally? Who do you need to have a conversation about, or a conversation with, to address misalignment that is happening externally? Those might be two different people. We'll talk about how to get into those conversations a little bit later on. Thank you for tuning into this video, and I'll see you in the next one.